Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Esports Show. This is Season 2. We're back for 2018, and we're still the dumb shits you remember from last year. My name's Matthew Judge Brand. I'm joined once again for our first episode by Lewis Tibor Gratz, resident Rocket League expert and semantics critiquer, and Terry. This is Terry.
Hi.
And
Mum says I'm cool.
and that's about it.
That's it.
We're coming back with something a little different. We don't have the banner behind us because it's far too hot at the moment, and we've decided to shift the location for tonight's filming. So we do apologise for a little bit of delay. We're aware that it's not the pristine setup you're used to with us here on the show, but we do have a great show. We thought that maybe we'd be able to get away with being away until I don't know, the start of February, but we've had to start a couple of weeks earlier than expected because so much has actually happened, and is the tale of esports that never sleeps. So we will get right into it. Lewis, the Overwatch League has been a massive launch. First week, scoring record numbers in terms of viewership for the first matches played over in LA.
Well, it's going to be a record if it's week one.
Exactly.
It's complete week one. It's fresh because there hasn't really been, there has been top tier.
Yeah.
But there hasn't been sort of a really organised, bring everyone together, such as this for the Overwatch League. And it's been good. I'd say it's been quite nice. We just get us to the right position. That might help. I've got the laptop going this week.
Oh, I'm impressed.
I know.
You have notes.
Moved up from a phone. You're normally the one with a laptop, weren't you?
I know.
It's the heat. Mr. Untitled's in chat. 42 here in Adelaide, apparently. Seeb's doing anything. We're still here trying.
Trying so hard.
Trying so hard.
Trying so hard.
Medic.
We'll kick it off with everyone was wondering if it was going to be on Twitch.
Yes.
And then about 2 days before it started, comes out, yes, it's going to be on Twitch. Twitch technically has exclusive rights, but some games will still go to MLG.
Right.
As well.
Okay.
Right. The figure that they've come out with about how much Twitch has paid Blizzard is around $90 million.
Jesus, no. Wow. Okay.
For the right to go on there. So it looks like it took that long to try and hash out what's going on. Now, some of those articles as well say it could be more, it could be less, but 90 is sort of the figure that's being floated around.
That's huge. I mean, we talked about the numbers prior to the Overwatch League launch and how those were big, looking at franchises and how much a franchise cost.
Yeah, well, 20 mil.
Yeah, but even 90 mil for broadcasting. Now, when you look at the numbers the Overwatch League's actually pulling, yes, that price for broadcasting is pretty relevant compared to the price of owning a franchise. But for 400,000 concurrents, almost 500,000 concurrents?
For the first
week, first broadcast, to me, I'm not sure if it's inherently worth that much money.
Well, the first one, so peak day one, week one, all the hype, going to be the highest numbers.
Of course, absolutely.
Non-Chinese viewers, 436,000.
Which is a damn big
That's
number.
decent, yeah.
Huge, right? Apparently, with Chinese viewers, it was 1.64 million. So apparently, there were 1.2 million Chinese watching on a stream that I don't know where it is.
Right. That's pretty huge. I mean, we talked as well for League of Legends Worlds. We talked about
it was like a million
They hit the
and
million.
100 million.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Which is a drastic difference. The Chinese market in esports is explosive in terms of viewership.
To say the least.
Like Mr. Untitled said, hovering around 100,000 today. We're interested to see in a couple of weeks. I think that's your point, isn't it, Lewis?
Well, it got up to, I saw it at 150,000 today. There was a bit of a drop for day two.
Yep.
I think it was around 250. Then it was 230 day three, but about 150. It is going to hover out, but you got to say day one was everyone wants to watch. Okay, this is based around you want to follow your team. So you're going to watch the games mostly based around your team. That's sort of the model that it goes. Not everyone sits down and watches every NFL game or every AFL game.
Not everyone sits down and watches every OPL game.
No, exactly
If people do sit down and watch OPL games.
They stand up.
Yeah, that's right.
It was always going to drop. It was going to level out.
Yes.
It just didn't have this. The Twitter drop-off would have been insane, though.
Yeah, because, I mean, you consider the Twitter hype that was around week 1, day 1, it was huge. It was retweeted everywhere.
Which was mostly
My
just look at how many
timeline-
people are watching.
Yeah, and my timeline was filled with it. Yay, it is a success because week 1, day 1 is so huge. And don't get me wrong, yeah, good on you. But what everyone's watching is how long it stays that hype for, because that is the value of a franchise.
Yeah.
NFL doesn't come out and go, you know what, the Raiders are pretty damn good, look at all those impressions. Because nobody says that about the Raiders. But
Well, I mean, they do get a lot of impressions. They just
Don't get a lot of
no,
results.
they just suck on the field.
But that's the thing is, people over the long term of the Raiders franchise have been looking at how the Raiders performs over so many years, how the NFL performs for viewership and for engagement over the decades.
Yeah.
It's going to be the same thing with Overwatch. We're excited. We hope it does very well. But it's just
It's not gonna be that-
looking long term.
It's not going to be at that explosive level, but it's still
Yeah.
going to be at a very high level.
Absolutely.
It's going to be right up there. We've got a lot of content for this, so we'll jump into it. Image 1. This is from a bar in Boston. Now, they
Okay.
were trying to get a lot more sort of engagement out of cities. That was the whole point of this.
Yes.
And here we have a bar in Boston. This was a picture from Jacob Wolf. He's an ESPN reporter.
Yes, he is.
And he says that there's
Done,
well
good one
over
too.
100 people here in that pub over 2 levels watching the Overwatch. And that's in Boston.
That's pretty nuts.
So it's not only people going to LA to watch it, or people from LA watching it.
Yeah.
You've also got people going out in Boston. So that's a great thing to see, I believe. And they can do
Absolutely.
in the studio, they have a great screen. This is what they can do with it. Basically.
This is probably my single favorite shot of what they can do with the screen in that studio.
Yeah.
It is gorgeous.
That's the stage. But back to Boston, there is a thing called the Green Monster. Now, this is at the baseball park, Fenway Park.
Right.
And it's like the field's not long enough, so to get enough distance, they just put a big, disgusting green wall there, right?
Right.
For the home runs. Now, Overwatch has tried to mimic this.
When LA Valiant won.
Oh, I forgot.
You know what? I was watching this match. I was watching this, and like when I first saw the studio, I'm like, wow, that's impressive. Look at all that real estate with those screens. Like everywhere you see green there, obviously except for the roof, is a screen, like you saw with the shot of Ilios, right?
The roof, though, acts as an in-game thing as well, like
Yes.
a capture the point type of deal.
Yeah.
But
But all of that is screen real estate that
Yes.
they could be doing cool stuff with, like with Ilios. And so, like before the shot, I think it was Shock against Valiant. I think it was. You had like the Shock half of the stage is orange, the Valiant half of the stage is green. Like you had their logos and stuff. It looked plain and simple and clean. I'm like, okay, that's not too bad. Like, I understand why they did that. That's cool. As soon as that wash of green, I thought the same thing. Green Monster. That's what that is.
Yeah, so that was like that could be used. I get what they're going for,
Absolutely, yeah.
but there just has to be a little bit more there, a little bit more.
Just a little more clever.
Even the Seoul Dynasty one, I didn't put a picture of this one up, but they used the different colors, the 2 different tones. Like they could have just put some yellow somewhere, and it would have looked a little bit better.
Yeah, that's
from
right.
the logo. But like the players, they're starting to get into it and having a bit more fun as well. We got a video of one of the teams entering the London Spitfire.
Our first team is the London Spitfire. Jester leading the action here, spinning the wheel, and we got to look back to the first match.
See, it was a bit cringe, but I mean, they're having fun with
It's
it.
having fun. That's the point. There's some personality
You
there.
gotta do it. 'Cause the
cringeworthy performance. It wasn't exactly smooth and rhythmical, but I'll give it something.
The first player that walked out for the first match on day one, that was appalling. So that's much better. I'd rather some cringe dancing than
Good
just
on you,
sort of
London
like
Spitfire.
just walking out.
That's it.
I'm excited.
I am an Overwatch player.
Overwatch player. But just for me, it's still a bit too confusing.
Okay.
The gameplay itself.
Right. I was going to say, because watching someone walk out that tunnel is pretty straightforward. boss.
It rather is. They go to their side of the stage.
Okay.
But it's a little bit too confusing for me still. I mean, I play Overwatch, but like they put in the team colors, they put in the team things, but it's still just a bit of a mess. Like I've got I've got a little bit of a clip here as well, just sort of as an example of how it's still difficult to follow.
Boom
boombox. One shot from Carpe. He actually gets res. Carpe kills him again, and they're forced to use both reses here onto Jake.
Self-destruct forces a disengage, so the tempo gets mixed up a little bit for the Outlaws. They want to press forward and use this momentum, but they've not been allowed to so far. Callback getting forward, and that's going to force the Transcendence out of Boombox, but the Fusion might use it to actually win the fight out. The healing's been pretty darn good. Lisa's found Neptune off screen, so there's no more mercy now for the Philadelphia Fusion, but it doesn't seem to matter, because Poco and Shadowburn are in there.
Carpe goes so huge.
Yeah, I get what you feel, and I think part of the issue with Overwatch, and it's something similar that was being talked about as well on Twitter, is the way that it's observed, because it's hard. It is a game similar to League of Legends that when a League of Legends team fight is on, it's hard to watch.
Yeah.
Even if you know exactly what's going on, it's hard to follow because it's bright, there are a lot of animations, and it moves around. The other thing that's hard as well is that when you look at the dynamics between Overwatch and a game such as CSGO, CSGO has these fast-paced reactions, has the flicks, and the aim duels that we're seeing like we do in Overwatch.
Yeah.
But the difference is the way it's played, in that you're not having a T-sided player in CS jump up halfway up the map like a Widow, grapple off of a building, and then launch for a shot off elsewhere, and the quick movements. You're not having a CS player dash twice and then go back like a Tracer does, which throws your momentum, because as a player you might know what's going on when you're playing, but as a spectator, you don't know what that player is thinking all
Well, you
the
don't
time.
have the comms of the other players.
No.
You're not trying to force the play. So it's still a bit confusing for me. There's a lot of people that love it. It's just not my thing just yet.
Yeah.
Still getting there. But when you mentioned League of Legends, League of Legends though, at least like you just got a top down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like even as I've played way less League of Legends than Overwatch, I can follow League of Legends a lot easier.
Yeah.
So it's just 6 players moving around, moving very quick, because these are good players. Their mouses are going insane.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have the player in front. I mean, like in CSGO, you just got the gun.
That's right.
But like if you've got a diva, you've got this and
Yeah.
that, and it's...
It does make it hard for spectating, but it's something that we know Blizzard is looking at. They're trying to look at different ways to have observers fiddle with camera angles to make this look amazing and follow well as a viewer. I also think that this brings in, for my personal view of how this is done, this is where commentators of the pedigree that we have on Overwatch League are very important, because they need to be telling the story for what we cannot see and what we cannot process. We need to, as a viewer myself, I like actively listening to the commentary. I do it on NBA, I do it on NFL, I do it with esports as well. I want my commentators to be telling me what's going on and providing depth and insight into what we're seeing, even if I can't see it. And I think with Overwatch League, that's what we're getting. When you've got people like Monty, Mr. X, and Uber, who are very articulate. Uber, amazing with his fast-paced, articulate commentary. I think it's worth it.
My thing with Uber is I think he's too good.
Too good.
I think he's too good. I think he throws so much damn information that it's almost like too much to take in as well.
Almost sensory overload?
It's almost sensory overload for me. Like, it's not that he's bad, it's that he's sort of like too good. And he's like, I can do this, so I'm going to go ham. It's kind of like, just a little bit.
Just bring it
So you
down
need to slow it down for T-Bor.
No.
That's all I was saying.
That's it. No, but like, it's, yeah, like obviously for the endemics, for all that, it's all great. Just, you're doing a good job, keep doing it. But
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
it's
just
it's
the
doing
sort of
well
critique,
is
yeah.
what we need. Like, we would like to see longevity out of the results. We like what's happening already. But when you're organising something of that scale, it'd be nice to see the minor details touched up, such as that massive green on the screen.
Yes.
That just jazz it up a little bit. Throw some white in there and some angular shapes. Like,
or just a
do
like,
something.
large transparent logo behind it. Just break it up.
Yeah, that's it.
Just sort of the industry standard.
Noski is saying, my only complaint so far as a new viewer has been how Mr. X talks to us with his hands in his pockets. I don't know, I love it when Uber's casting, so it helps get a clearer picture of what's going on. So Noski's in my camp. I don't think you disagree.
No, I mean,
He puts out so much information. You as the viewer are kind of
He's
nitpicking.
painted Monet there. He's done everything and
He's
more.
Michelangelo in the Sistine Chapel looking up. It's just people don't quite grasp what he's saying.
He's an analytics caster at play-by-play speed.
Yeah. He's unreal.
Yeah.
And he's got a great knowledge and depth of the game. So I also agree with Monkey Fist, though. They should use a free cam more. When they were doing cool things with the observing, having fly-throughs, having over, top-down views,
Yeah.
That was amazing, following the action, because I understand that to follow the action most of the time, that's with a Genji or a Tracer. But my lord, did I get motion sick when we were following some of those players.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not even old yet.
No, it's not great. I mean, even in Rocket League, you can get motion sickness from certain types of observing. So it is a thing that happens across multiple esports. But
Yeah.
Tracer's one of those ones where like you've got to know where it's going and what it's doing. Otherwise, you don't know where they are on the map.
And that's it. But we wish the Overwatch League and Blizzard the best of luck. They've obviously kicked it off to a great start. Make sure you catch those matches now on Twitch. No more MLG. Kind of MLG.
No, it's still. And they've got an
Moving
Overwatch
forward.
app. They've got an Overwatch app as well.
They do.
Yeah.
But if
Stay up to date. We'll be following it. And I think we're going to leave Blizzard there. Otherwise, Steve's going to have an aneurysm.
yeah, I
So-
think, yeah, we even had more, but let's go. Let's move on.
CSGO Major, stage number 1. Tibble, you had a bit of a laugh at this because I can't count the amount of times you've told me to have my visa sorted if I was ever to go internationally for work. And 100 Thieves, who are the ex-immortals, have had to pull out of the Major due to immigration.
Well, they tried. They did try.
They tried.
They tried. But-
Okay.
so, yeah, they were ex-immortals, as you said. They came second, well, it was like the core that came second at the last major against Gambit. But, yeah, so they were out. Unfortunate. That's just more, it sort of gets piled onto those players.
Yeah.
Which is just not good. But that meant 9 spots were up for grab for the next one. So it was like 8 were invited from the previous major through. Immortals was one, or 100 Thieves was one of those.
Right.
They didn't go, so then there were 9. So the teams that progressed, Cloud9, G2, Vega Squadron, FaZe, which FaZe had to go through the long way.
Right.
Probably for rostering issue, like they've got such a new roster, like core, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
Space Soldiers, Mouse Sports, Na'Vi, and there was a surprise one in there of Quantum Bellator Fire.
What's the hell his name?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Good on them.
So that was a Russian team
Yeah.
that also got in there. Then there was a playoff for 9th between
Right.
the 3, 2 and 3 teams.
Yep.
So then we had Liquid, Avangar, which I believe was Kazakhstan.
I think so.
Yeah, Kazakhstan and the Renegades.
Right.
So Renegades had to go because they lost to Liquid or something. And however they worked it out, they had a better for and against, but they had to play against Liquid. No, they had to play against Avangar first, and the winner would play Liquid. Renegades had just been previously absolutely spanked on Mirage by Mouse Sports to actually have to go to this. If they beat Mouse Sports, they would have gone through.
Right.
But Mouse Sports, like it was 16-4, and Renegades never looked in it.
Oh, wow.
And so they're like, right, last chance, we have to win 2 best of 1s in a row.
Yeah.
We're playing Avangar. What are we going to pick?
Can I answer?
Yes.
Is the answer Mirage?
It is!
Hey!
No.
Why?
Wow.
So they didn't win that.
Okay. So they didn't win that anyway.
16-10 and out. They never looked in it. Like they were just always one step behind.
Right.
And it looked like the same thing. They just did not look like a Mirage team at all. They were getting stomped basically, and it was just painful to see. It's like it was best of 1s. You could have banned it out first. It's not like you had to have a deep map pool. It's like, look, Mirage isn't our thing today. Let's just move on. But sometimes teams will want to go, look, we have to prove ourselves on Mirage now.
But the thing is, so it would have been the standard 7 map, best 1 veto, so it would have been ban, 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 so a total of 6 bans down to 1
6
remainder,
bans,
right?
remainder.
So, so your argument's basically they should have banned it first. Like, they had 3 bans to get in there. Why did they allow it? I mean,
No, they picked it.
oh, because they had the final ban?
They had the final ban. So it went
What
down
was
to
the other map, do you
Train,
know?
It went down to Train and Mirage.
And
And
they
they
went
were like,
Mirage.
let's go Mirage.
Yeah, look, I'm not...
Way to double down, boys.
So that was my one thing. I mean, people said that it was a massive failure they didn't get through. They should have got through, especially with previous international results very recently, especially beating Virtus Pro.
Yeah.
But I still think they did well. I mean, they had a 16... their first round was 16-14 against Vega Squadron,
Yep.
but they were tipped to win that one. And 14-16 against Liquid.
Right.
I mean, they were like really close to getting those 3 wins.
yeah.
But like Vegas Squadron, they had to come back against Liquid. They were coming back on Cobble. They were about to force overtime. The bomb was dropped by the entry fragger
Oh, no.
coming out of Cobble to the B site. And
Yeah.
The bomb's sitting there. They got 5 players defending it, and Liquid came out and just went pop, 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 pop.
Yep.
It was just painful to watch.
That's rough.
In an eco. Or in a force.
Okay.
In a force for Liquid. So we'll move on from that. Renegades
Oh,
were very unlucky to not move on. But the next stage will be this weekend. It's another Swiss bracket.
Okay.
Another Swiss bracket. 8 teams progress to then the champion stage, which from that they'll get seedings, and from the legend stage they'll get seedings, and it'll just be a straight up quarterfinal single elimination.
Right. Okay.
Best of 3s all the way, grand final best of 3 as well.
All right. Well, best of luck to the teams at the major, and we'll follow that one and give you some results when they come through. Stay tuned to the Esport Show Twitter at the Esport Show, and have a look, because Lewis has been jumping on there, posting live updates and where you can watch esports of the day as well. So I'm sure he'll have something coming up during the major. Having a look though, Rainbow Six Siege. It's a Ubisoft title that I fell in love with on release, purely because it was just that little bit different. Class-based FPS strategic gameplay. I thought it was great, but it took a little while for the esports bandwagon. It had a lot of issues at release, it had a lot of issues at beta, then at release, and then moving forward, resulting in free DLCs called Operations. The one to note is Operation Health, which then rolled into further operations, all about bug fixes and getting the game right.
Yep.
Now, Rainbow Six Siege is absolutely amazing, and I recommend anyone to check it out, especially because of how the esports scene, even locally, is shaping up for it. Darkside had just picked up a team, which was ex-Corvidae, but you've been talking to Sam Monkey Fist Royals.
Yes.
Isn't on the show with us tonight, but he has given us a bit of the lowdown on Rainbow Six.
Certainly has. So I put my Monkey Fist hat on because I don't really know that much about it. So I'm just going to be pretty much reading from the screen.
Go for it, friend.
So every year there's basically the major by Ubisoft called the Rainbow Six Invitational.
Yes.
16 teams, $500,000. Mm-hmm. All right, so that'd probably be US. It's in Montreal, Canada this year. It'll be run from the 13th to the 18th of February. So it starts on the Tuesday, ends on the Sunday. We'll have some more updates when it gets closer.
Of course.
But there were 4 ways to get in. For OCE, we only had 2 of those ways, of course. Mindfreak won the APAC qualifier, and I'm going to say this name wrong. EINS, E-I capital N-S.
EINS?
Yeah,
Sure?
Yep, don't know. They won the last APAC Pro League.
Okay.
So they're the 2 teams that will be representing OCE, so good to have them over there.
Awesome. And I think it's good that Rainbow Six is getting a little bit of interest here. Rainbow Six ANZ has been a community group that's done stuff like the Cyber Gamer Cups, ESL stuff as well that's not officials,
Yep.
and has, of course, had their casters and commentators jump on official stuff as well. Monkey Fist, Sam, a friend of ours, went over and did the Pro League over at ESL Studios and commentated that. And I think it's good that this title is doing well. Monkey Fist has just said, I got it, it's EINS.
It is EINS?
It is EINS.
Eins, zwei, drei.
It reminds me of my German heritage, so
Yeah.
there we go. But I think it's good because Rainbow Six as a title is something a little bit different. Yes, it's an FPS. As much as you want to argue that CS is a tactical FPS, which I'm not going to disagree with that point, but Siege does it in a different way in that it is class-based for the tactical, but it's inherently tactical because you're dealing with SWAT-based stuff. That's kind of the gameplay. You imagine a SWAT
it's
team
more-
going and doing
it's
something,
more-
that's what the Rainbow Six Siege
Yeah,
is.
like entering into a house,
Breach the wall,
Fulf-
let's go,
yeah.
clear corners.
fulfilling your objective, and then getting out.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so, plays different ways and different maps. Monkey Fist says he likes to say it's a mixture between Overwatch and CS, like smack bang in between the two, high octane, but tactical.
Different
classes with
classes,
abilities, and sitting right in there. It's amazing. So stay tuned. We wish EINS and Mindfreak the best of luck heading over for the Invitational. Good on them for getting their spots for the region, and we'll follow that, of course. But also keep your eye out on Rainbow Six Siege esports locally and globally, because I've got a good feeling about it. The game's in a good state now of playability, and I love what Ubisoft's doing, so good work to them. Moving forward, though, Terry, it's your time.
It is.
It's your time to shine. Maybe, with your subpar analysis, but tell us.
Accurate.
Start us off by telling us about OPL 2018. We've got the split one.
Yep, split
it's
one.
all coming up.
It is. So it starts this weekend at 1:30 with Chiefs and Direwolves. Direwolves being the two-time OCE champs.
Yep.
Neither are playing with a full roster though, unfortunately, and we'll get into that in a bit.
I think we should have an image of sort of the lineups.
We should have an image for the matchups. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go
There's
through
the
the
lineups.
There's the lineups.
Do we have a match? Do we have an image? Did you get an image for our first episode?
He should have one.
in
Maybe
season
I'll put
2.
it- There it is. There it is. Yes.
There it is. Woo!
Ah!
Looking good.
So we're starting off with Chiefs and Direwolves. Obviously, that's going to be a massive grudge match, as it always is. And then we're going through to Tectonic and New Team Order. So Tectonic have been rebranded from TM Gaming, as we know.
Yes.
ADC is low. Mid is shook. They stayed from TM, the original TM. New players are Swaith in the jungle, Tilting Sup, and Pat Prize on top. Order Tally, they've scored Tally from. I'll just quickly check.
Might be good if we
Legacy.
bring up the lineups
Yeah, let's bring up
graphic
the
now.
lineup.
Let's have a look now.
If that's possible. I'm so sorry, production.
Maybe. Maybe poor Steve isn't able to bring that up. But yeah, forget the lineups. While you keep going through there, Terry.
So yeah,
See
so we
if
got
had a
Tally,
look.
There we
Tally
go.
back on top. Spooks and Swiffer poached from the Chiefs. Well, obtained from the Chiefs. And jungle and mid, FBI as ADC and Rogue as support. I'm actually looking forward to that, seeing two new teams with new players meshing on. That's at 4:30. So yeah, but let's talk some toxicity.
Yeah.
Shall we talk some toxicity?
Yeah, well, I just
Should
want to
I-
explain this.
Yeah, go through your graphic, Lewis, because
so
this
we
is
got
beautiful.
This is-
we got the graphicologist onto this one.
Oh,
That is
look
some-
out. And he's
He's a
done
fine
well.
Man. He's a lovely man.
That is some
He's a forgiving man.
ridiculously good tables there. But the top is the end of 2017.
Yep.
So the players in red are no longer with that club. Right?
Right.
So Legacy and Regicide have none of those players left.
Keeping in mind, Regicide's spot was
Correct.
bought out
but
by
they
order.
They retained none of those players.
Yeah, that's right. Just to put out.
Yep. So they retained none of those players. Sin only has one remaining. And the best were Abyss, now the Bombers, and Direwolves retaining three.
Three,
So
yep.
still losing 2 players. This is a huge shuffle. Like last year basically means nothing
That
for
means
standings.
nothing. So they're completely new teams.
Yeah, and some players aren't in there. T-Gun doesn't have another team, it looks like.
Okay.
However, there may be a different announcement here. There may be. But with the toxicity that we have seen on there, all the players in red, except
Yep.
for Zank, have a 2-week ban for toxicity.
Yeah.
Zank has one for account sharing,
Account
but they're
sharing.
all 2 weeks.
Yep.
So all the other teams have it sorted out because Orders is their sub. Direwolves has a jungle sub.
I love Chief's solution to this. I really do.
We'll get to that.
Well, yeah, we'll get to that in a second. But Sin has a support banned in Cuden,
Yep.
and their sub is a support, Milky. He's been banned for toxicity as well. So I'm thinking Tegan might be on Sin for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, maybe to get them through. We'll see.
Yeah.
Do want to pitch in here. Crayo in the chat. I'm not sure if Crayo's having us on. The Bombers logo stolen from an Australian football team called the Essendon Bombers.
Lies.
If you didn't know, I'm not sure if you're trying to troll us, but I'll give it to you. If you didn't know, though, seriously, the Essendon Bombers actually own Abyss Esports Club now, hence the rebrand to Bombers, hence the logo change. So they are actually, it's not stolen, it's actually theirs.
It has happened in esports before.
Plenty of
So-
times. We talked about, I mean, there was on Twitter once, Control Esports had stolen the logo of a collegiate basketball team in the US.
And still have stolen it. still have it.
They've edited it slightly, so it's no longer stolen, okay?
Yeah, that's it.
It's
No,
now
still.
proprietary work.
That's still thoroughly stolen.
Sorry, carry on there, Terry. Tell us about the toxicity of this league.
Okay, this toxic. I am so proud to be part of the Oceanic region. I really am. Okay, so the Bombers. My favourite was Luch. He's been banned for toxic, but I'm pretty sure was it late last year?
Start of last year.
Start of last year. He
Yeah.
actually tweeted out like "new team, new me" sort of thing. No,
No,
because I'm pretty sure last year he got banned for toxic behaviour.
No,
as
no,
well.
he was banned for
he was
boosting.
banned
Oh,
for
it's boosting,
boosting.
that's right.
Because
For a season.
OPL players don't get paid enough, so he decided to earn some cash on the side.
That was
That's
when
right.
they didn't get.
That's
Well, they went in houses. I
They
mean,
went
they
in
still had a
houses, yeah.
match payment, but that was before they went into the OPL. That was just when they got promoted.
Yeah, just promoted.
So OCS players don't get.
yeah, well.
No,
Yeah.
no, For the Chiefs,
I'm not going to go there. I was going to have this whole thing about like if you're an aspiring pro player, maybe you should be considerate about the expectations on you when you actually go pro. But let's not go there today.
that's just another.
It's
episode.
too hot
It's
for
too
me to
hot.
rant.
Yeah, it's way too hot.
I'm sweating thinking about it.
So Chiefs have come up with an interesting solution for Rays being banned for toxic behaviour in the ACC. Fantix has recently left Direwolves. He's retired and he's picked up a strat manager position for the Chiefs.
Okay.
But for the next 2 weeks, he'll be playing ADC for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
So, welcome
he's
back.
He's listed as mid on the graphic though,
On that
because
graphic, yeah.
that's what he's listed at on the OPL side.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
because I saw the Chiefs website and it said he'll be stepping in for ADC.
He
So,
will be,
he'll
he will be,
on
but
there
his
somewhere.
position's listed as mid.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Good. Well, he'll be stepping in somewhere. We'll see him back on the Rift, which is
Yeah.
nice. Shenfire banned for the Direwolves for being toxic in career after Riot lovingly gave him an account to go train.
Yep.
Good job. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And like saying for account sharing, Milky and Kuden for Sin for being toxic. Just, guys, grow up.
And I've got to say as well, one thing I did like from Riot, and we briefly mentioned it when we first covered stuff from last year as well, in the bans coming through on Pinch at Avant and Mimic at Legacy for being toxic. Their staff.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
like this. The onus
Yeah.
should not just be on the players to behave themselves,
Yeah.
but any staff affiliated with the League of Legends sides at these clubs needs to be
Yeah.
held accountable. Just
Yeah.
because your staff doesn't mean you're exempt from being positive on the Rift.
Yeah, absolutely.
it.
That's it.
But there was another announcement from OPL
There was?
about their sponsors.
Yes, there was an announcement. So for those of you who aren't aware, the League of Legends OPL has got the OPL Fantasy site. It's actually pretty cool, and I'd encourage you to go and check it out. Recently, this week, they announced that they have a sponsor for the OPL tipping site in Hungry Jacks, which is a massive non-endemic sponsorship to be bringing
huge.
on board. We did see Throwdown had McDonald's Australia sponsoring their league for Rocket League for the RLCS qualifiers, and now this betting stuff for the OPL. But I'm a little bit curious because we've commented on the show previously about how OPL numbers have slipped by comparison to other esports in the region and also compared to their own numbers early on last season. Now, myself, I don't know about you, but I'm not a very impressionable person.
No, I'm not persuaded by advertising at all.
Terry, do you feel...
No.
No?
No.
I don't think that spending this money in esports is really worth the marketing dollars because there are so many avenues that you can take this down. Like, why not get into radio advertising to target an endemic audience? Actually, save me some of that burger. Point is...
Were you saying something?
No. The point is this is great. Memes aside, I love Hungry Jacks. Part of my whole weight loss thing that I'm kicking on is because of the effects of Hungry Jacks previously. But I think this is a great non-endemic sponsorship that's coming in because I think as well for Hungry Jacks, the way that they've got the integration coming in, that if you do well in the fantasy points, you can actually win Hungry Jacks prizes.
No, that's not bad.
Like, that's cool. It's not just let's throw cash and get our label on something, but Hungry Jacks are active in this. So,
Oh, that's a bit salty though.
bit salty.
Is it
Yeah.
as salty as our league?
I'm feeling a bit toxic now.
Wonderful.
Oh, man.
This way, touch.
End of the day, congratulations to the OBL.
OBL?
I don't even know. It's too hot. My brain's sweating. Congratulations to the OPL for landing Hungry Jacks. Must have been one massive negotiation for that one. But I've heard the bets are better at Hungry Jacks, and I'll keep up to date with how the fantasy points go throughout the season.
There is one more thing I want to throw in there real quick.
Yes.
Direwolves announced their launch of their OCS team, the Dire Cubs.
Oh, the Die Cubs.
So Mid's already been signed in, and Jared Getback Tracker.
Now, he was the one that got the next game, isn't he?
He was the next game winner from last year. We actually mentioned him quite a few times last season.
We did.
Wondering when he was going to get a chance, but this seems like he's got a chance in the OCS.
Cool.
And good news for you and I, consider we're Diamond rank. We can apply for this.
That was nice. That was a good one. An impromptu moment.
So no, Diamond or higher can apply via email. I didn't take the email down because, quite frankly, I'm not going to apply.
No.
Bronze Life.
But check out the Direwolves Twitter. I'm sure it'll be on there. Applications to join the Cubs are open. Diamond and higher, like Terry said, get amongst it. Of course, that being in light of the changes that have come through with the OPL and OCS. If you, I think if you go watch the final episode of last season,
Yes.
go watch that if you want to find out more about the changes that have come to the OPL and OCS here for 2018 and the model they've set up for pseudo-franchising moving forward.
Yep.
Looks good.
Now some social media.
Yes,
Oh,
we do.
oh,
I did want to just
chat?
address in the chat. Yed Rello was asking, do we only cover LoL, Rocket League, CSGO, Dota, and Overwatch? Steve's been in the chat saying, actually, we've covered a lot more. We covered Smite and Paladins and HOTS and fighting games.
Yes.
And he's wondering if we cover amateur. We do cover amateur, and we're getting to that. Stay tuned.
It's a long show.
We've still got like half an hour.
And it's so hot.
But no, we do cover amateur stuff as well with upcoming events and local news. So make sure you stay tuned, my friends. Coming up, though, is the socials around the OPL. Now, Lewis, as I mentioned, you are a semantics expert. And not only that, but you consider yourself... Actually, no, you don't consider yourself an expert. You've just got common sense, it seems, regarding whether something's decent on social media or not.
Well, I know what I likes.
Yes.
I don't know what I don't like.
Right.
Just not that difficult, I suppose.
Of course not.
But there was some talk about social media on that these teams have been doing
Yes.
and sort of where they're at, if they've been doing enough.
And you constantly get in arguments about whether the onus is on the clubs or the players to provide content.
Yeah, it's both.
You're not
It's
argumentative at all.
both. Simple answer is both
Both.
for different reasons.
It's everybody's responsibility.
It's like warding. Anyway,
It's like recycling.
he got it.
But sort of Tectonic's come out. They are. We're going to have a little look at their sort of announcement video for this season.
Hi, I'm Cyclone, Tectonic head coach. We've rebranded in 2017. You knew us as TM Gaming. We've got a new house for 2018 that I can't wait to show you guys around. And we've expanded our coaching staff. We've got 3 strategic coaches, 2 analysts, and a position coach for every role. We've got returning players, Shock and Low representing us on Summoner's Rift, and 3 new faces, Peprise, Swathe, and Tilting. To all our competition, I hope you're ready, because we're going to shake things up.
T-Ball wasn't a fan.
Okay, so I'm gonna come out of the gates for this one, right?
Cool.
Good start. Okay, like Tectonic is the brand that's come from TM Gaming, that's come from Tainted Minds, that had the whole fiasco. We're not going to go into that, right? Good start. Let's go positive. I like what's coming out here. They have a lot of staff coming on. Like they mentioned, they have a staff, an analyst for each role on the team. That's just 5 staff, let alone head coach, right?
Yep.
That's cool. That is a traditional sports setup that I like.
Yeah.
I like that in the NFL you have not only an offensive, defensive coach, but you have a specialist coach. You have a range of them that all report to the head coach.
You have assistant defensive coach.
That's right. You know, that's good. And I like this for esports. We've said this for a long time. This needs to happen.
Yep.
But Tectonic is owned by John McRae. John McRae being an owner of Let's Play Live, a massive esports TO in New Zealand. Orchestrating some amazing things for Call of Duty, like integration with the NRL teams over there and having amazing production and amazing studio. So, god damn it, why is this done in front of a green screen like this with a really bad Times New Roman font? Like, is it that hard?
It's whatever the high school had available. The AV club worked really hard on this.
Like, good
Son of a
try,
bitch.
but... Like, is that being too harsh? This is the OPL that's having on a pseudo-franchise system with academy teams in the OCS. Slots in this league cost a pretty penny. They're not Overwatch pretty penny, but it's still more than I can afford a year. Like, you would think that this would be done better.
Yeah.
It's just not great. I mean, if it sort of had some sort of like video next to it, just something to sort of give it a bit more than like dude with his hands in his pockets. And I mean, like, he's trying.
And look, Cyclone's trying. He did his job well. He introduced it. He was well-spoken.
Yep.
He enunciated, and I liked that. Not ripping on him, but ripping on Tectonic, because why was it like that?
They put him in a bad situation.
Yeah, it's not his fault.
So that's an example of too scripted, too uptight, too bad.
This
It's
shows an
just,
example of going the complete opposite direction.
Way too loose, no scripts.
Yeah.
And far too much yelling.
But we have an example of what I do like.
Okay, cheer me up.
So this is Avant.
Oh, I like a.
They just popped this up. It wasn't through the official account. This was through Jubes.
Giles.
Giles.
Jubes is Sin. What are you doing, Lewis?
I don't know.
It's the heat.
Oh, I think we're getting yelled at.
It's heat.
And that is on your social media.
Yeah, it's unscripted. It's done like quick. It's just unplanned, uncut, unscripted. It's fantastic.
Now, okay, that
Love
wasn't
it.
on the official. Yes, that did just come from Giles posting that up.
But that's where it's everybody's responsibility.
That's right.
That's not really an Avant post,
No.
but it's a good Avant post.
Yeah.
And the thing is that people know Giles is the Avant content manager, right? And okay, yes, of course, you can extrapolate in saying, okay, well, the org's putting out more content because Giles is because he's the org. Well, yes and no, and we all know Giles puts a lot of Avant content up from his personal stuff as well, like when he's working on stuff and things like that. Cool, whatever. But people know it's in the tweet that this is the Avant boys, what they do after practicing in scrims and stuff.
Yeah.
Giles has put it up. The guys are having fun. It's raw and relatable. When you look at marketing in its current form and you look at what engages people, vloggers are all the rage.
Yeah.
And you see YouTube, it's filled with it, and it's filled with the controversy of it that spills over onto Twitter. This is perfect.
Yep.
That's exactly what you should be doing. Yes, put your tweets out and say, hey, this is what we're doing. But do a website post, because do a website post that quickly outlines it. That's fine.
Yeah.
And then have some decent content coming through later. We don't expect it now, but if you're going to do content and you're an OPL org, do it right.
Yeah. Nice announcement videos, nice
Yeah.
videos like that. Just it's not too much. Like it does take time.
It does.
But you have to put that time aside. And I put it out on Twitter during that sort of thing. I was like, I like what AV does. You've also got to mention Dash when it comes to AV social
Yes.
media. I got yelled at because I didn't.
Dash does a lot of good things. Giles, although Giles is quite good at his job, we have to include Dash.
No,
he does a lot.
I just said Avant, and then he was like, "Why don't you mention either of us?" but then that made Benji from Darksided not very happy.
No.
I didn't mention him because Darksided do really good stuff, but they don't do that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
And I said to him, "You will be #1 in the region
right.
when I see a video of a player with a dark-sided raven or crow or whatever big black bird they can find and train. They get that. They get a player, high-profile player, preferably.
Preferably.
I don't. Do they have any high-profile players? No.
Although the FJC players, I did Somniacs.
It's a joke. It's a joke. They have
quite a few,
They got
but-
the Rocket League team. There's like
Yeah.
second or third. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somniacs and Somniacs
It's a joke.
FGC, it'd be pretty badass FGC player there with a
Yeah,
Raven.
FGC player would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Stop taking things so seriously. Come on. So if they can, if they can train that bird to fly off, maybe get some like cool shots of it flying off. Maybe stick a GoPro on it. I don't know. I'm asking for a lot.
That's
But
a lot.
this is only one video. Cool intro, cool outro. Flies back, lands on their shoulder or their arm. One of those sort of, called,
A Falconer
yeah,
glove.
that type of
So
thing.
you essentially want something directed by Michael Bay.
Yeah, and it comes back. Like it doesn't have to be like super hot, but it's like just
In
Comes back,
slow-mo,
explosion in the
explo-
background.
yeah.
no
A transformer
explosions. Don't
pops
need
up.
explosions, but you need him like staring down the camera, going yeah.
Can you do that one more time for the camera, Lewis?
Just yeah. And if he can do that,
Yeah.
then Darksider will be #1, and I'll get some Darksider merch and I'll wear it on the show and profess my love for Darksided.
Okay, I think that's a fair odds. Darksided,
Yep.
your move. Mainly because I want to
get
see
that.
you like
Decked
Garth
out.
from Wayne's World when he's sitting there, feet up in all the Reebok. I want that to be you with like Darksided bandana, with Darksided cap, with Darksided shirt, Darksided jacket, Darksided shoes,
Trackies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want that to be you coming this season. That'd be great.
Preferably
Yeah.
in winter, it's way too hot for
I
that.
think I'll need
yeah.
Deadline to hook me up for that, but yeah.
Well, friend, good. Now, you do have a comparison. We did mention the Bombers logo. You had a comparison piece, though, planned.
Hey!
Steve's just thrown in the signature series from when Goa JDK and the boys are playing for Darksided in CSGO. And There you go, Lewis. Put
But
that on.
I can't put it on yet. He hasn't made the
They
video.
haven't had the video.
No.
But we're prepared, Darksided,
So
your move.
I will stick that on.
But you wanted to do a comparison here, T-Ball, because there's been a lot of talk around Order and
Yep.
their team, headed up by Spawn, who is a well-known League of Legends caster here in the region. You don't quite like some of this branding at the moment, do you?
We'll bring up the Order logo.
Yep, we'll have a look. There it is.
It's not. It's like.
Yeah.
Look, it's
It's a thing.
not unappealing.
It's not bad.
It's not bad, but it's just like, I mean, it is difficult to sort of say this is Order. Like, it's not really a thing.
Yeah.
There's no visual representation of Order. It'd be like drawing Dignity or something.
Oh, for God.
Drawing Dignity. For those of you that aren't aware, that's a clip from Simpsons where Kirk is playing charades at the Simpsons show.
Pictionary. Yeah.
Sorry, and he's trying. Charades is acting, and he's trying to draw Dignity, and he has a go at his wife because she just cannot work out that it's Dignity, because that's clear, it's Dignity.
It's pretty clear it's Dignity.
Pretty clear.
Yeah.
Oh man. Baked Beans is sitting here, and I do apologise, guys. We said at the start of the show, because it's so hot here in Adelaide, we're doing the show not where we normally have the set at the studio, and so to actually get the show out while not dying, we do have a little bit of lag, so we apologise for that. It's a bit out of sync, but Baked Beans has asked the question on everyone's minds: how does that actually show Order?
Yeah.
Like, do you extrapolate it that, you
it's
know,
art.
like the points
It's
are in the
art.
points of a star, but they're not a star, and they're ordered in such a way that they stay in place by the circle that surrounds them and binds them?
in
like,
the same way that you do Dignity.
in the same way you do Dignity. Okay.
Yeah.
Just go
All
with it.
right.
Stop asking questions. It's a thing.
That's all I can do. But we actually have. There was the gentleman that brought up the Essendon logo. We have the Essendon logos to look at.
We do. Have a
Because
look.
they are slightly different. So Essendon, now Matt and I were talking about this before the show. As South Australians who grew up with AFL, it took us until like, what, 2 years ago, 3 years ago,
Yeah.
like me included, to work out that was a jet plane.
To work out that was actually a bomber.
A bomber. Because Essendon, the Essendon Bombers are normally referred to as Essendon.
Yes.
You don't normally think bombers,
That's right.
right? And so you don't think bombing plane. You just look at logo, you go, that's a logo with their colours. But the Bombers, as they've actually changed it from Essendon to Bombers,
Yes. For the esports club.
yeah, it looks like a bomber. That actually looks like a plane.
Yeah.
You don't have to know that they're...
And so like my thing with it is, like, if you look at the Bombers logo, it's the shading and a little bit of width in the body that sells it for me. Because as a kid growing up, I never saw the Essendon logo that large.
No, well, come on,
And-
Channel 7, like...
Exactly, I saw
Standard
it
definition.
bottom left corner before Channel 7 even did 720p, right?
Yeah.
So growing up, I thought it was some kind of like Transformer looking face, like, because it was
Yeah.
sharp angular lines, bit of red in there, bit of grey. I'm like, oh, it's a robot. But I didn't see a bomber, so,
No.
but I like it. I like the branding, and I'm glad the OPL esports side of Bombers is the Bombers. I like the name change. I like
Yeah.
the branding.
We're back to Dignity for a second.
We were back to Dignity.
I think so. Steve is saying that we need some more.
He definitely is.
Yeah.
Nolsey's saying it's legit. That is legit the same plane. I beg to differ, but
The same what?
the same.
The same
It's literally the same plane, but it's not. It's the shading.
No, it's and like the
God, you're an arts major too.
like it pretty much is. It pretty much is the
Pretty
same
much
plane.
is.
They've added a few more details, but the esports logo looks better than the AFL logo.
Absolutely. One thing that maybe is a discussion for another time, because there's always the discussion around games like Counter-Strike and advertising and sponsorship with non-endemics, right? Because, you know, it's violent. We literally have an AFL team branded around a bombing plane. Like, that's another discussion. But look, will maybe Order's logo will develop in time. I kind of feel the same way about that as I do Tectonic. I actually like Order's more because I like the colouring in the points.
I don't get Tectonic. I don't get it. Like, we're a triangle kind of deal.
I've seen that triangle logo about 32 different times
Yeah.
in the Call of Duty Black Ops 1 days when little kids were having clubs or clans, they were called at that stage.
The Order logo, you at least go, that's Order.
Yeah.
With the Tectonic one, you go, eh.
Eh.
Eh. But I think we need to start pushing on.
I think we do. So having a look here, it's the AU and NZ champs. ESL has announced the roadmap, kind of, for 2018.
Yes. Well, pretty much. I mean, so from last year, they're not going with Zen anymore. They're not going with that branding.
Yes.
We're not even going to go there.
No.
There's no longer Rocket League.
Yeah.
And there's no longer League of Legends. I mean, they change from season to season.
Yeah.
But they announced at PAX last year that they were going to bring in Dota 2.
Yes.
And I immediately said, hey, Matt, I bet they're going to take Rocket League after that.
And I said, you're damn right they are, because that sounds about, logical.
Yeah. It's just, the viewers weren't getting behind it.
No.
Yeah.
That's like main issue straight up.
Yeah.
But CSGO, they're running 16 teams
They are.
for $20,000. Now, they've invited 14 teams.
Yes.
Some of like Carnage Esports, I'm not too familiar with them.
Don't need to be.
But they'll be there, maybe.
Yes.
I don't know. But I think that their like sort of roster ruling was like you had to have like one core or something. Like it was very loose. They just wanted to get these teams in there, it looked like. But there's 2 open qualifiers, one on the 24th of February, one on the 25th of February. And the season starts Wednesday the 7th on Thursday. Wednesday the 7th and Thursday the 8th. So they're running,
Right.
so CG is
Wednesday,
running
Thursday.
Monday,
They do.
Tuesday,
Uh-huh.
and they're running Wednesday, Thursday.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Sounds good. Good to have CS back. Do we have much more information on Dota?
Also, the CSGO, they're running in 2 like divisions.
Okay.
Okay.
8 teams. So I think the top 4 from each division go through.
Because it's an 8-team land final as well.
Yeah. Expect some one-sided matches.
Yes. What about Dota, friend? Tell us all about Dota.
So Dota is $10,000 live finals in June at the ESL Studios, I assume. 4 open cups. So they're running it like they did for Overwatch.
Okay.
4 open cups. The top 2 from each open cup get a spot in the online qualifier. So they'll have 8 teams for an online qualifier after the 4 weeks.
Right.
Then 4 of those teams from the online qualifier will go to the LAN.
Okay. Makes sense. Not a bad format. Good to see Dota 2 happening in the region again. Dota 2 has been in a bit of a state. But good on ESL for getting out there and announcing their plans. We have CG's 2018 roadmap that's come out as well.
Yeah.
And those plans are pretty expansive, including online titles.
Yeah, we've got, we're just first up in the sort of the Premier format, the
Cyber Gamer Premier League.
the LAN, the ones that will have a LAN.
Yes.
CSGO, Rocket League, and Street Fighter.
Yes.
5.
That's right. So CSGO is adopting a similar format. There was a bit of change around qualifiers, but that wasn't so much format change. That was more because of how the rule set played out with teams and shuffles in the off season after champs kind of thing, or after season, like spring season 2017, it played out a bit differently. But it's the same 7-week format, 8 teams in CGP plus the other skill divisions, playing out to the top 4 coming to LAN. Doing that 3 seasons for the year and then champs at the end of the year.
Yep, so the 3 seasons,
Yep.
and then you got to qualify for your spot at champ.
That's right. And champs, each season is self-contained, but they also give an invite to the champs at the end of the year. Rocket League's being done on a similar thing as well.
Yep.
And then Street Fighter being something completely different. CG's hosting 3 $10,000 open entry events here at the Cyber Gamer Studios, where anybody globally can rock up or buy a ticket, be there on the day, and to compete for their share of 10K.
So it's like an open LAN.
Open LAN with those 3, and then potentially looking at a champs at the end of the year as well, potentially.
Yep.
Of course, the
See how it
roadmap's
goes.
subject to change.
Yep. Then you move to the online stuff, which will not have a LAN. PUBG, because LANs for that are going to be insane. There's travel allowance for Rocket League and CSGO.
Yes.
I'm not even going to go there with some players from that.
Just know that Michael Carmody loves you.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Michael Carmody. You might not love me later if you're watching.
He laughs now.
But PUBG will have an online portion. I think
Yes.
starting at $4,000. I think it could be subject to increase depending on how many players or sponsorship or whatever. But I think StarCraft 2 is also getting a run. Rainbow Six
Yes.
should be getting a run.
Yes. Quake is looking at getting a run. It's just getting rule sets and stuff established. There's a few other titles in there. There's rumours about Fortnite coming in,
Yep.
but we're not sure. Or I'm not sure on what's going on with that, whether those are true or not. So we'll have to have a suss of what CG's doing and what I'm allowed to publicly tell people later in the year. So,
Paladins Battlegrounds.
oh Lord, no!
Everything Battlegrounds.
Steve just yelled no from the back.
Yes.
That sounds like a Jeremy idea, Lewis.
Righto.
But look, it's good to see ANZ Esports pushing forward again. ESL doing their little bit as well.
Yep.
But CG smashing it for these online titles, and more to come apparently as well. There's discussions going on.
Yeah, well, I mean,
for some other stuff as well.
Well, ESL sometimes bring out late announcements for their champs as well. So
Yeah.
there's always a potential they could come out with something new there, as well with CG, and things can change from season to season as well.
Absolutely.
Not everything's set in complete stone. So we'll see how that all develops. But on the Gfinity front, we know nothing.
Funny that. There's DJ Fusion in the chat asked earlier what we thought about the Gfinity radio ads playing.
I did hear that. I was like, I'm going to listen. I'm going to try and hear this radio ad.
Right.
So I put on Mix.
Uh-huh.
And it played. And I was like, oh, okay.
Cool.
Like, it was kind of like some bubbly dude.
Is it
Hey, come join the Gfinity Cups. You can win prizes and qualify for the Elite Series.
Oh God.
And it's like, we don't even know when the Elite Series is. But I mean, they're branching into new territory.
That is cool.
They at least, that when you look at Cybergaming and ESL, they have a big endemic reach already.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whereas Gfinity's coming into a new area, and like their socials still aren't getting a huge amount of backing and all that kind of stuff. So this is a novel way of getting into the market.
is.
But then I heard it, and then I changed over to a good radio station and listened to Red Hot Chili Peppers on Triple M.
Nice. Well done.
Yeah.
Well done. I'm proud of you. Moving forward, we do have some quick news. It's about Longzhu changing their name.
Yes. I don't know why it was always called Longzhu. And I know the commentators said it,
Yes.
but ZH in Chinese is a J sound.
Longyu.
Longzhu.
Yeah.
Longzhu. Right.
That's what it should be.
Yes.
So it's always been a gripe with me with why the casters say it that way. I don't understand it.
It's not Longzhu. It's actually
Yeah.
Longzhu. Or Longzhu.
Ju.
Yeah, but it's mispronounced so
Unless-
commonly.
Unless it's like, for some reason it is pronounced that way,
Right.
but like to the spelling,
Yeah, fair. Fair.
that's what it would be. But so that was a complicated enough name for people to say.
Yes.
So they've changed. They've been bought out by Kingzone, and now they're Kingzone Dragon X.
I love it.
I've worked
That's
out.
amazing.
I've worked out. I want to make an Asian team,
Okay.
Asian
tell.
esports team. I'm going to call them Star Snake Galaxy 5.
Why?
Because it's like, and the logo is going to be like a snake in the shape of a 5. It's
Okay.
Going to be in a galaxy of those behind it. It's going to be the ultimate Asian logo and team name ever.
Why? Why is this inspiration coming to you?
Because there's so many like stupid, like long, let's throw words together. Like
Yeah.
King Zone Dragon X. It's like nothing goes together.
It's like Samsung White. Team Samsung.
No, it's not. It's
Not at all.
I'm trying to save him here.
not even close to that. It's
That was a good try, Terry. That was a good try.
Gotta try.
Yeah, well, I mean,
What team name? I'm gonna go copyright that later on. Star Snake Galaxy 5. Done.
yeah.
okay, Lewis, look. Courtney, your wife is in chat. She's just asked what the. Sorry, you're investing in the esports industry in the Asia region. So sorry about that. Baked Bean says Super Magical Dragon Wizards ESC.
That's not bad.
That's not
But
bad.
you need a number.
5. Coming esports, though, we do have the OCIM qualifiers plus Katowice PUBG, the CG qualifiers, and of course ESL champs. Lewis, tell us all about what's going on abroad.
Well, we've got the IEM Katowice. I keep saying Katowice. It just says Katowice. Katowice.
Yeah.
They are, well, the OC
We've given
slot-
it like 3 different pronunciations today because it's just, we've stopped thinking, it's hot.
yeah,
Yay, esports.
Yeah.
man is hot. So OC has still got their slot to decide.
Yes.
There's some qualifiers running tonight. I believe Nutters is covering some of those.
I think so, yeah.
I think Australian loses microphones at the workshop, so he's
Yeah.
not going to be on it. Check HLTV as well for if there may be some more out there.
HLTV.org.
But I think it may be closed.
I think so.
Go TV, so I think Nutters has got himself onto it somehow. Which
I think Flames has organised something.
probably, but it's good, it's good to be able to get in there and see
Yeah, absolutely.
some of the action. So that's the last open qualifier. Then there'll be the closed qualifier with the invited teams.
Awesome.
And that'll be a huge tournament after the major.
Mm-hmm.
And Katowice has also announced PUBG is going to be there for
Yeah.
$50,000.
Interesting to see PUBG come forward again. I mean, Bluehole and PUBG Corp are pushing it at these larger events.
Yep.
I'd like to see throughout 2018, like what we said with Overwatch, in that I'd like to see PUBG getting the system established for how you work up to that. Because at the moment it's just been like a, hey, you're a massive org that has
Yeah.
a really good esports presence. You've got a PUBG team, cool, get an invite.
And this is only the invite only.
Yeah.
Oakland had a qualifier system.
That's
but
right.
This is invite only.
So, I mean, I'd like to see some expansion on that for progression.
An expansion in spectator slots.
Yes,
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Up from 1.
like Mr. Burns says. Yes.
There's going to be so many young millennial kids going, what is this TV show?
What is Simpsons? Yes.
And I feel so sorry for you people.
CG qualifiers, what are they, my friend?
CG qualifiers, the Rocket League ones will be coming up.
Mm-hmm.
There are invited teams, but there'll be quite a few slots up for grabs.
Yes.
So they'll be around the end of January. Hasn't been a firm date set yet. I think you still got to read the rules that I wrote.
I do.
But it's looking like that.
Cool.
And I think CGP's pretty much filled. And PUBG is running their qualifiers now. I think that's
Yes.
on CGTV_main at the moment, which we'll probably host after.
Yes, probably.
And then ESL has their qualifiers for CSGO. There's one slot from each open qualifier at the moment.
Okay.
But that may increase depending on if teams exist from the invited. I assume not all 14 of those will take a slot.
Yeah.
So there may be more up for grabs in those qualifiers.
All right. Sounds good.
And Dota 2 is open, so you can just jump into that.
Get in there. Make a team. Get in there. Play Dota 2 with your friends. Other than that, my friend, what's coming up to play? Oh, you've got CG, Play ESL, Gfinity.
There may be some other tournaments. I think there's an AEF Dota League.
Oh,
They're
yes.
starting up as well.
They are.
Quite a few dollars.
The Australian Esports Federation.
Yes, that's them.
That is them.
That's them. I did put a tweet out on Esports Show Twitter. So if you are interested in that, scroll down
Uh-huh.
and have a look.
Have a look at the Twitter.
Have a look.
Get on there.
But yeah, Gfinity's still on the competitor. Contender and competitor mean the same thing.
Yes.
Yes.
Now I'm putting my semantics hat back on.
Categorically, definition-wise, they are exact synonyms for one
They
another.
are exact. You put it in and search what is the synonym for contender, and it gives you the top one as.
And it's not even like,
competitor.
earned or deserved, where in different contexts they can be used differently.
No,
they're literally the same thing.
They're literally the same word, perfect synonyms for each other, can use interchangeably, yet one means the lower league and one means the second league.
Yeah.
And they have alliteration.
Yeah. This is all part of the Challenger series.
No, well, they've got, alliteration with the challenger and the
Competitor, contender. This is the point. And it also doesn't help when sometimes you've got, I've seen it on Twitter as well, when they get the graphic, they're like, this is the results from this week. And competitors, the higher one's on the left, the lower one's on the right. But you don't really know which one kind of sits where in terms of the scheme of things.
Yeah.
I feel your pain.
I've just seen what's on the screen, actually. We haven't looked at
Steve's been doing some work in production.
So it's
It's Competior and Contender, so yeah, I'm not sure whether Steve's
Oh,
going
who
for
cares?
something as well.
it's just confusing. And look, yes, after many months and maybe years, people will understand what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But it's just needlessly confusing.
If it was simply just a different letter, it would make it infinitely easier. Like with the Cybergamer stuff, CGPIMAO.
Yeah, like premium, intermediate, main,
Amateur, open.
open. Like, you can understand that. So, like, when I first started, I was a bit confused where M goes, but it's like,
It's just a different letter. Once you
That's
learn
it.
the placing of the letters, you're good.
It's really confusing, and they're not going to change it, which is the worst bit. It's just like, no, it's fine.
It's not good.
It's fine.
Yeah.
That's not. We're not out of touch. It's the children that are out of touch.
Man. Let's end on a high note. Lewis, you've been making me hang on. I haven't seen what's coming up here for
No,
the e-gaming award because you and Terry have been you've been lying to me.
We've been omitting.
Yeah. it's-
Omitting.
And the
We
e-gaming
have been-
award, as always. Any new viewers? This is the
lovely
e-gaming award.
E-gaming award.
We can't even say it's sponsored by Corsair. We found 3 sticks of old Corsair RAM and threw them in a SATA HDD reader.
Now there is a disclosure. I did add to this. This isn't all their fault. I did
Okay.
add to this a little bit, but it does go to Legacy Esports.
This is why Mike's not going to be happy with you, isn't it?
No, goes to Legacy Esports
Okay.
for their new jersey.
Okay.
Right,
Baked Beans
so-
just asked if this goes to Order's logo. But no, Legacy gets it, okay.
No, so here's Legacy's jersey.
Yes, that is Legacy's New Jersey.
Right.
I quite like it.
Really? Really?
I mean,
So here
No,
was
no,
the
no.
here
Think
was
about
the
it.
Twitter reactions.
I like it because it's different. This is too good.
So there was about 2 people on there that
Actually
liked
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
actually-
okay. I
Yeah,
mean, I know
actually
I'm in
into
the
it.
minority. I like it because it's different, because so far we had every team sign up with BLK. They produced basically the same freaking jersey, and we're like, woohoo. We had a couple of teams sign up with ADV, so then they were a bit different to the BLK jerseys, and they actually had some quite good designs. But they were still ADV, you know, like the esports jerseys. I liked this one because it was different. Legacy tried something, but I don't think that's
is
the end of your story.
This is not the end of the story.
Okay.
This is not the end of the story right here. So I thought it looked more like a cycling type jersey. So
Tour de Esports.
I wanted to see what it would look like in a sort of lycra sporting setting.
What did you do?
So I think in the real world, this could work out. Our graphicologists were hard at work again.
Oh no.
And we've also got another real world example of what this could look like. I think it goes quite well in the real world. It's
Okay,
It has
yeah.
its applications. It has
Right.
its applications.
it can be used in a multitude of different ways. So
Yes.
I think like Legacy is the first Australian team that's going to be at the Olympics.
Yes.
So they can sort of incorporate this, even though they're not allowed to put their branding in. But
True.
But,
Okay.
I think sort of in the sporting world, this could work out.
I just can't. Can I have an image of the boys at the pool again? Because
Cyclists.
The rollers.
yeah,
Oh, they're always, are they?
I just that one. Bottom right. I just can't avert my gaze. Like, are we going to be seeing? Are we going to be seeing them at the High Performance Centre in Adelaide?
We can see Matt CD.
Not anymore.
No, he was back on the team.
Is he?
He was playing with them the other day. So he's almost like back on the team.
Oh man. Okay, yeah, look. Credit to them for being different. But I love that work, man. That is some primo uniform. Those concepts need to be available in the Legacy shop just so we can buy one and have it on the desk. I want to get Steve in that, like in that crop top one.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, thanks everybody for joining us for season 2. Oh, that was a great show. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, less sass.
A little bit less sass this season, definitely. We are trying to launch a bit of a new segment called What's Up Twitter. So if you guys have a Twitter account, tweet at us at the Esports Show and ask us questions you want to answer on you want answered, I should say, on the next episode. Tweet them at us anytime. We're going to grab them all together and we'll answer them on next week's show at the Esports Show. We are at the Esports Show on Twitch. It's different everywhere else, and we're sorry about that.
I don't know. Maybe we should make it like Esports Show. Just get rid of the. Maybe that would be available. I don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe I
Esports
shouldn't have
would be
said that. Now someone's going to make it.
God damn it, Lewis.
I know what I'm doing when I
But
get
other
home.
than that, thank you so much for being here. We haven't put out a Twitter poll yet. We were starting to do those and ask people questions ourselves and getting your answers and your feedback. I'm going to put one out sometime soon when I work out a question when it's not so hot.
You put one out this time?
Maybe. I'm like, man, is man hot? That's the question I'm asking right now, and the answer's bloody hell yes. But other than that, thank you so much for joining us once again. We will be back next week, and hopefully it's nowhere near as crispy here in the studio. Thank you to Lewis T. Borgratz, Terry Badger O'Neill. My name's Matthew Judge Brand. Thank you to Steve Cyanide Sam sitting at the back on production doing amazing on-the-fly graphics work, and we will see you next week, Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. Catch you later.